Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Aptitude Club. Today in this video we are going to discuss CAT 2024 LRDI set. This is going to be a DI. This year we saw DI coming after a long time. So today's session is on actual CAT paper and we'll be discussing the set and try and see what are the steps that we should go through while we analyze and try and solve an LRDI set. Okay, because in LRDI it is very crucial to understand the structure and how to approach. And the more number of sets we solve, that awareness and understanding and maturity will develop. If you are new to my channel, you can check out in the I section the previous videos on LRDI that I have completed. So you watch all those videos and you'll get an idea how to approach one LRDI set, which information to pick first, and how do you structure those information, how do you try and make sense of it, reason out, and then arrive at a conclusion. Okay, so let's begin with today's session. So I would request all of you to pause at this moment and read this entire set and try and solve it from your end first, and then we will go to the discussion. Okay, so pause at this moment and try and solve it first. All right then. So let's see what the question is saying. It is saying there are 6 web surfers M N O P X and Y, and each of them had 30 stars, which they distributed among 4 bloggers A, B, C, and D. So there are 6 surfers and 4 bloggers. So each surfer is having 30 stars. So we can say, okay, there are 6 surfers. So 6 into 30 will have total 180 stars. Okay. And it is distributed among 4 bloggers. Now the number of stars received by A and B from the 6 web surfers is shown in the figure below. So now there are 4 surfers and each of them will be receiving stars. This table, okay, histogram, it is giving us the idea for only 2 bloggers out of 4. So we know how much is A receiving and how much is B receiving, and maybe after reading the additional information we'll be getting an idea how much is C and how much is D receiving from each of the surfers. Okay, now if you look at the histogram, kind of simple, and scaling is important here, observation. So let's take a look at the additional facts here. The additional facts are like this, that the number of stars received by the bloggers from the surfers are all multiples of 5. Now this makes the understanding of data a little easier. If everything is a multiple of 5, we don't have to approximate and then scale down looking at the reference of y-axis. So that problem is solved a little bit. Okay, it is a multiple of 5, so guessing the values is going to be easier. For your convenience, I have put this dotted like lines, horizontal lines, so that you can refer to the values a little easily, but in the actual exam the horizontal lines were not present. All right, now total number of stars the bloggers received were the same. Now if the total number of stars is 180, so each of the bloggers is going to receive the same number of stars. That means 180 divided by 4, we can conclude each of the bloggers has received 45 stars. Each blogger received a different number of stars from M. 2 surfers gave all their stars to a single blogger, and D received more stars than C from Y. Now those of you who would have already solved let's say a few LRDA sets, you would have an idea, okay, what an LRDA set is. Now if you are someone who is solving one LRDA set for the very first time, so try and see what is the structure of DI. Okay, one data set has been given to us with some logical information. Not everything has been given to us in the form of this histogram, partial information. The rest of the information we are like supposed to conclude based on these additional facts. So some reasoning is also going to be involved, some numbers crunching, and then understanding of the data set. Okay, so every question on LRDI is going to be like that only. Maybe but the context will change, the topic will change, but the structure is always like this. We'll have one question like this and followed by let's say 4 questions were there in this DI. Sometimes we get 6 questions in a set, sometimes 5 questions in a set. That varies from year to year, but initial information is always presented to us in this way. So we'll try and see which information should we pick first and how do we structure this set properly. Okay, it's not a difficult set, it's a very easy set to solve, and I'm sure a lot of you would have solved this. But those of you who couldn't solve, you can try and see in which information what conclusion are we trying to make here, and I'm starting with which point. There are total 5 points, but how do we start this? Okay, so if I look at this, There are two colors of bars. So first one is the number of stars received by A and then the number of stars received by B. So if I look at Surfer M is giving 10 stars to A but 0 to B. Surfer N is giving 25 stars to A and again 0 to B. O is not giving anything to A and B, so 0 0. Then here 5 from A and 25 from B. Again Surfer X is not giving anything to A and B, that means must be giving to C and D. Now Surfer Y is 5 from A and then 20 from B. This is the initial information presented to us. Now when you read this, obviously we have the idea for A and B and we are like supposed to figure it out for C and D. So how do we present this in a structure so that it will be easier for us to record the information? So let's go to the second slide. So I've created this table for you where it will be easy for us to record the information. Whatever was given in the histogram or the bar graph, I have put it in the form of a table. So just now whatever we concluded in the previous slide, I have recorded in this table. So A, B, C, D are the bloggers and in the like vertical axis M, N, O, P, X, Y are the surfers. So total we know each surfer had 30 stars. So I'll write 30 for every surfer and total is 180. Also the total number of stars received by the bloggers were same. That means everyone is supposed to get 45 stars. So we can complete the table in this way. Already we can see A and B have 45 each. C and D also will have 45 each because everyone had the same number of stars. Okay. And the number of stars received by all the bloggers were multiples of 5. So the rest of the information that we are going to decode is on the basis of that only. But this is how we'll create a table and put a structure to the data set that has been given to us. So that when we try and read the additional information, we don't have to go back again and again and again. We'll have a definite structure in front of us which will help us answer the questions in a better way and retain the information as well. Alright, so let's start. So these are the two informations that I'm going to pick initially. I didn't start with the first point, I started with these two. Now see, every surfer had 30 stars. It is saying two surfers gave all their stars to a single blogger. All their stars. Now it cannot be M. M has already given 10 to A and the remaining 20 will be distributed between C and D. It cannot be N also. Again, N has given 25, so the remaining 5 will be between C and D. It can be O. Similarly, it can be X. So O and X are the only two surfers possible who can give all their stars to a single blogger. The rest of them have already given a few stars to one of the bloggers and the remaining will be given to some other bloggers. So O and X. So the two surfers who gave all their stars to a single blogger are O and X. O and X. So if it is O and X, so O will be giving 30 stars to either C or D. Now we don't know which one it is, so I'll write it in this way. So either C will be getting 30 from O or else 0. Now if C gets 30, so corresponding D will get 0, and if C is getting 0, the corresponding value in D column will be 30. This is how you write it so that you can frame cases. Okay. Also think of it in this way. If C has received 30 from O, that means C will receive 0 from X. So C can't receive 30 from both O and X. And if C has received 0 from O, then C will be receiving 30 from X. Because C and D, O and X. So 1-1 mapping at the end we'll have to do. Similarly, if D is getting 0 from O, that means must be getting 30 from X. And if D is getting 30 from O, so 0 from O. This is how we can write this. So I picked two information and then tried to use it and then fill the table. And we'll go stepwise like this. Let us go to the next information. I hope all of you are getting how we are trying to fill it up. Okay, it's always not necessary that we'll have to conclude, okay, C is 30 or D is 30. So at this stage it is not possible, so keep it like that and keep moving forward. At the end we'll automatically see some cases will be eliminated and you will be able to arrive at a definite conclusion depending on the context and the amount of information that has been given to you. Sometimes the questions will end in a way that it is still a case based. Let's say there are 2 cases or 3 cases or 4 cases, and based on that questions will be asked. It is not like I have read a question and I'll be able to exactly determine who got how many stars from which server. It is not like that also. It depends on the amount of information the question has provided to us. Alright, moving on, let's see this one. Now it is saying each blogger received a different number of stars from M. How do we utilize this information? Now there are 4 bloggers. Each of them will get a different number of stars from M. Also in the previous information we have concluded every star that each blogger is going to get is a multiple of 5. And total number of stars with M is 30. Already out of 30, 10 is gone and 0 is gone. 20 stars are left. So if I look at the multiples of 5 till 30, so 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. These are the multiples of 5. I can't obviously pick 30 and I can't pick 25 also because total 20 stars are left. I can't take 0 and 10 because they have already been used. I need to have distinct numbers in this row because everyone has different number of stars. So I'm left with 5, 15 and 20. Now I can't use 20 also. Let's say I give 20 to C. So D is going to get 0 and again 0 will be repeated. So the only choice we have is 5 and 50. Okay. Now look at this. Now this is either 5 or 15. Similarly, this is either 15 or 5. We know every blogger is going to have a total of 45 stars. If you look at D, D already has 30, maybe from O or from X, but D is definitely going to have 30 from one of them. D has 5. Okay. Okay, I think I missed this. So let's come back to this. D received more stars from Y. We'll go back to that information once again, but let's come back to this. D received more stars than C from Y. Now, if you look at Y, Y has total 30 stars and Y has already distributed 5 plus 20, 25 stars distributed. So Y has only 5 stars left and 5 will be distributed between C and D. So one of them is going to get 0 and the other one is going to get 5. If C is getting 0, D will get 5, and if C gets 5, D gets 0. Now because D received more stars than C, so that means D cannot be 0. So D is 5 and C is 0. C cannot be 5. So this is how we can conclude, okay, this is the number of stars received by C and D from the surfer Y. So here if you see, as we were discussing, D will have a total number of stars, that is 45. One of O and X is going to give 30 and already D has 5. So 30 plus 5, it is 35. So I can't take 15 now because 35 plus 15 will be 50. But D should have 45. So D is supposed to have 5 stars now. Now if D is 5, then C is 15. And if C is 15, so 15 and then this is 30, which is 45. And already it is 45. That means these two values are going to be 0. Because C cannot get stars from any other surfer now because C ka quota jo tha 45 is already done. So let us look at D now. D has total 5 plus 5, 10 plus 30, 40. So 5 more stars. If you look at P, P has total 30 stars. 5 is given to A, 25 is given to B. So no more stars left. So this is 0. So M we have completed, O we have completed, X we have completed, Y we have completed. Only thing left is N. N has total 30 stars. 25 given to A, B, C are getting 0 each. So remaining 5 stars will go to D. So D has total now 45. So easily we could complete the entire table, but just these two information we cannot conclude. Who is getting how much? We just know that one of them is going to give 30 to C and the other one to D, but which one we are not able to conclude at this point, and we don't have adequate information also. Additional information didn't clearly mention that So we only know O and X. One of them is going to give 30 either to C or D, and the other one accordingly will be adjusted. So this is how the final table looks like. Based on the initial histogram and the additional information, we could decode, and the final table looks like this. So now exactly we know most of it. How many surfers, how many bloggers, total number of stars with each blogger, total number of stars with each surfer has given how many stars to each blogger. So only cases left is this, and we'll proceed to the questions in this manner also. It's not always mandatory that we will have to conclude, we don't have information. So let's see, can we solve the questions on the basis of this. Going to the first question, what was the total number of stars received by D? Total number of stars received by D is 45. Now, one important thing to understand here is this question came in CAT. Now, let's say this was not the first set that I was solving, and by the time I came to this set, only 5 minutes was left, and I don't have enough time to actually decode this and solve. Now, it sounds easy, but in the exam, when you are in a pressure situation, selection of sets can be a little challenging. But you see, without even solving the total set, with the first two lines only, we could have concluded that each surfer is getting 30 stars and they are distributing it equally amongst the bloggers. So total 180 is distributed equally. So each of them is going to get 45 stars, even if we don't know exactly how they are going to get from how many surfers. But we know end total is 45 for every blogger. So without even going deeper into the set, we could have easily answered this question. Total number of stars received by D is 45. Going to the next one, what was the number of stars received by D from Y? D from Y, it is 5 stars. So option A. Now it is easy. Similarly, how many surfers distributed their stars among exactly 2 bloggers? Each surfer had 30 stars. We need to check how many distributed exactly among 2 bloggers. It cannot be M. M has distributed to 3 bloggers. It can be N. Now it cannot be O. O has given all 30 to either C or D. It can be P. It cannot be X again, same as O. It cannot be Y. Y has given to 3 bloggers. So how many surfers distributed their stars amongst 2 bloggers exactly? So it is 2. And who are they? It is N and P. N and P are the bloggers who distributed to exactly 2. Then the last question, which of the following can be determined with certainty? Now see, because our set ended in a like situation where we are still supposed to solve 2 cases. Okay, so it's not complete. There are still 2 cases to be solved. That is why you'll see there will be at least one question where some additional information, or like we'll have to evaluate the case and come up with an answer that will be asked. For example, which of the following can be determined with certainty? Understand why this word certainty is used. So if something cannot be determined with certainty, that means it is about the case. If everything was like totally exactly we could calculate everything, so why would be this word used, certainty? Why will we use this word certainty? Because everything is certain now, because if you would have completed the table, everything was certain. The usage of this word itself is a clear indication that there will be cases at the end. Okay, so don't take the pressure, because sometimes while you solve, you'll see we would have ignored some case, and at the end of the question you realize, okay, I have missed a case. Go through the questions initially to have an idea, okay, is this a question where my total table will be filled up, or is this somewhere that like I'll end up with a case. So that is something we'll have to understand, and accordingly manage our pressure and understanding of the questions. Because if you try and forcefully complete the table, then it's a problem. Now this is a very easy question, but the people who would have solved let's say 50 100 LRDI sets can relate to what I'm saying. Sometimes this can become a problem, so understanding the language of questions also matters a lot. So let's say, is statement 1 something that we can conclude with certainty? The number of stars received by C from M. How many stars did C receive from M? 15 stars. Yes, this can be concluded or determined with certainty. Number of stars received by D from O. D from O, that's what we don't know. It can either be 0 or 30. Can we determine this with certainty? No. So how many of the statements can be determined? Only one. option B. So this is how the question was, and the set was very much doable. Ideal time should be around 5 minutes. Some people can solve this even lesser than that, but it depends on your practice. And somewhere we have to start, especially for CAT 2025 aspirants. If you're starting your preparation now, start with these sets. Okay, don't take too much pressure of like getting good in LRDI all of a sudden. Maybe you will be a natural person who will be good in LRDI, but then we have to begin somewhere. Okay, start with previous year questions and try and have that understanding what is the examiner expecting in terms of skill sets while approaching a LRDI set. The histogram was given, but we ended up with a table, and table made our understanding even better. So understanding the data, translating it into maybe a table. If a pie chart is given, you'll have to draw a table, or depending on the context, you'll have to decide a structure which will help us understand the data set and the data points in a better way and reason out the question. Okay, so that is it from my end for this video. I hope all of you liked the video and understood this data set. If you have joined my channel for the first time, do subscribe if you have liked the video and try and explore the channel. And you see there are more videos where you can learn the structure of LRDI and have a better practice. Thank you all for joining, and we'll meet in the next video. Bye bye.